We're on time? Oh,
Nope.
It's 3 minutes late. I wasn't late this time. I did it. I found myself over there, and I started spinning like a Tasmanian devil again. And I'm like, wait a minute. I got 5 minutes. All right, stop. Stop what I'm doing. We're going to do a tool grid product. The Moderators are in town. So we're going to do a tool grid project at my house. Turn on some Heartland. Got the big TV there. And we're going to tool grid it out and really organize my... now, I don't want to steal the win from anybody, so I'll just watch Heartland while they do it.
They seem very excited, actually. They were.
Yeah. I know how to... I'm a master manipulator of like-minded people.
Made them think it was their idea. They're like, yeah, let's do it. Sounds great.
Shoot. So it's another week. Did we do last week? Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
we did last week. It was the
week
before
where I was in. But
Correct.
the videos have started rolling out. The first video, second video, Swiss Trucks video up on the... what are we calling it? The... World's Most Amazing Garage or something some sort of keywords that somebody came up with that we need to put up there. But
the best garage build ever, all caps.
It might be true that it's it's my favorite garage ever done. So, I mean, there's certainly fancier, flashier garages, but not with the density of awesomeness that this place has and all of the professional grade stuff that we've been chasing for so long. So
let's see. We already got the next 3 days worth of 4 days worth of videos all lined up. That's good.
Yeah. So we got tour of my house.
House garage tour, almost complete.
Garage, yep. And you might even be able to catch a part of the video where my neighbor yells under his breath for me to put my frickin' garbage cans away. So now I've got a war going on there with that. Guy's been giving me the stink eye. He fast dad marched at me a month ago, and it kind of caught me off guard. And like I spent thousands,
I can confirm,
on getting the garbage can set up proper. I had to keep adding stuff to it. Bought some frickin' trees and all kinds of stuff. So now I got it all done. I get it all done, and he decides he doesn't like it. Why didn't he tell me he didn't want him out there in the first place? I might have accommodated. Probably wouldn't have. But where I made a mistake, I said, let me think about it. I'll figure something out. And then I haven't done anything about it because afterwards I realized I don't want to do anything with that. It was freaking perfect. Can't even see it. And so now he's passive-aggressiving me, and I'm doing everything in my power to just... Because I'm not a fighter. I'm a flighter. I'd rather just everybody be happy, everybody like me. I want to be like, I wish I had that, like, when people have an anger streak. Do you have that? Where you like get real angry? Like, I don't.
I save it all up and then.
I would like to have that. I'd like to think, I like to pretend that I have that, but I don't. I'm starting to think maybe I'm an extrovert artist. All these years I thought I was like a mathematician introvert. I think I've been lying to myself my whole life. What I wanted to be, not who I really am. I start crying when he's yelling at me or something. I don't know. So anyway, that's what's going on. And then garage update, and then
outdoor kitchen.
Well, that's the house update.
Okay, house tour, outdoor kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah. So great videos. Videos are going to do well. Make me lots of YouTube monies. Go make sure you go watch those.
And then a Raptor video in there too for folks out there.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you started, but I don't understand how your neighbor can even see the garbage cans unless he comes out and is like looking for them.
Well, he is. Something's wrong. Something's happened to him. Like he was the nicest guy ever, and now he wants to kill me.
The HOA got a hold of him.
The problem here is that, like, I'm 20 years younger, and despite the fact that I'm a pansy, I don't look like a pansy. I'm a little chubby, but I got big biceps and stuff. I wouldn't want to mess with me if I didn't know me that well. But I don't want to go to jail, so I'm just going to avoid it. Avoid. That's what I do. Avoid any kind of confrontation. So anyway, Shane's here. Then the whole moderator crew is here. Raz and Chelsea are here. Brandon's here. Tony's here. Mike bailed on us. He's going to some stupid wedding or something in Miami. But Mike starts on Monday. He's going to start full time here, so he'll be forever. And we just went to lunch, and we're looking for the last three. This is a third one. We did this twice.
Yeah, the first one wasn't a Moderators.
Yeah, first one was just a bunch of cool people. We got together, and then we all kind of became moderators of the Facebook group. Second one was like the Moderators, and the half of the first group all hate me and think I'm an evil human, so they're all gone. And speaking of neighbors, and then we were due to have it last year, and we couldn't because, well, I guess we could have, but we didn't because of travel restrictions and stuff. And so this year we're just getting together. But the last 2 times I darn near ran them into the ground with doing what I do, coming up with some crazy project. And we the first one we detailed the S2000 and the Raptor at the same time. I would argue that was one of the like seminal moments of Obsessed Garage in my life as a human, and understanding that when you invite people to do things, that there can be a mutual benefit to that. Where leading up to that, I didn't want to invite anybody to do anything because I felt like I was taking advantage, or I'd owe everybody something, or who knows, whatever bullcrap I made up. And it was a real epiphany for me that when we all sat down at I forget where it was, like Flipper's Pizza or something like that. We all sat down together, a bunch of people who never met each other. I even had, which I thought the Rag Company and Microfiber Madness, which is Corey. So Levi was there and Corey was there. I thought maybe they were arch enemies because of Microfiber Wars or something. And like these dudes, like you couldn't shut everybody up. No one ever met no one knew each other. No one had met anybody before. And it was like this just magical thing where you got a bunch of like-minded people together. And then just same thing at the next event. And so the last 2 events, we did these massive projects where they kind of I screwed them out of any kind of fun. So this time, we're not doing anything crazy. I had nothing planned, but we're going to do a tool grid project here. So Shane's here. Shane's been running the OG mountain event for 3 years now. This will be the third year coming up.
This will be the 3rd one I've done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kyle,
but 4th one
started.
you've been to.
Yes, this will be the 4th one because we canceled.
Stay on the mic; they can't hear you.
Because we canceled it the last 2.
Yeah. So Shane is like the axe in the moderators group. Like he just takes no crap from anybody, just axes everybody. If you say something stupid, he's probably responsible for axing you. So blame him. But the GT Smoke, or I guess not GT Smokies, that's the other event that I do. Yeah. But the Obsessed Garage event. And have you talked to Tommy about this?
No. Tommy that works here?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, he's supposed to get in touch with you to make sure that you had whatever you needed, and he wants to be a part of it. And go to, a bunch of the OG guys that work here are going to want to go up and do it. I didn't go last year because I'm really struggling with the driving business, but I'm going regardless.
Yeah.
So the next event is May.
I don't remember the exact dates, but yeah,
it's in May.
Last weekend, or it's the last week of May, I believe.
Gotcha. So it's like May 20 something,
right?
May, toward the end of May, and we'll be publishing. And do you have an event up on Facebook?
Yeah. So if you go to the Facebook group, there's an event published with the exact dates, and we moved it to be like Sunday through Wednesday.
And where are we going to do it?
So probably back at Fontana.
Is it
year.
Reopened again?
Yeah, it's reopened. They're under new ownership.
Yeah,
or new management, I should say.
Yeah. Fontana's roachy, but it's like the best place to be.
Right. It's the place that can accommodate as many people. So, the first year, I think there were maybe 30 or 40 of us. The second year, which is the first time I kind of organized it, I think we probably had like, well, more than that people wise, but we probably had like 70 cars.
Yeah.
And then, the last 2 years there's just been kind of a core
small group of
us
people
that has gone. Yeah.
So what I was talking to Tommy about is, the awkward part is like everybody's paying like individual bills and all that stuff. So I want to figure out how we need to work on the liability thing. So that's what I wanted Tommy to get with you so we could work on the liability aspect, but just create an event, collect a certain amount of money from everybody, and I'll sponsor a good percentage of it. And that way when we go, I can just have one credit card and we can just pay for all the meals at once kind of thing.
Okay.
I'd like to do it that way. And just remember, these are OG people.
Yeah.
There'll be 1 or 2 that order 7 drinks and take advantage, but the vast majority, I'm just going to tell them, look, just you know what you paid. Just don't freaking screw me out of this, because I'm going to be footing the bill for the difference.
Okay, so this is all new to me now.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you.
I'm learning of this for the first time.
I forgot
right
about
now.
this. Well, Tommy made a big request of me that he wanted to be a part of
Right.
he wanted to be able to go to the mountains. And so I thought I told him to call you, but maybe he's mustering up the courage to do it.
All right, well, I'll go over and talk to him sometime.
So
this
to
week.
help you to not have any of this weirdness and
Yeah.
make it, we don't want to make it so big. We'll probably have to limit it. You know, if we haven't done that in the past.
Right. And meals are always the hardest thing there.
Yeah.
And you have traditionally been against like catered meals because you don't like wedding food, as you call it.
Slop. Yeah.
And that's really all there would be. You would have to get it catered. We would have to get it catered by Fontana. Or there's a couple of other places that will bring in food.
Well, we go to the place, and I just take the bill, all of them. Just put on one bill.
Yeah.
All right, we got 50 people, and they'll just take the bill. And if everybody paid $180 for the 4-day event or something, then I'm not going to have to. I don't know. We'd have to do the math.
Yeah.
What is a normal meal up there? It's pretty cheap.
Yeah, well, I'd say let's stay tuned on that because those would be obviously the most organized that we've tried to do it, and we're basically got about 7 months. So, because traditionally what we've done is just kind of say, hey, we're all going to be here at this time.
We're just a bunch of buddies getting together, and we just have a Facebook group of people, and whoever wants to come, and that's what we've done traditionally, I think. But the most annoying part is then when the waitress is trying to hand out a bunch of cheapos, and everybody's the thing I don't like is everybody's looking at me, and in the beginning it's not like I'm making millions of dollars doing selling t-shirts and stuff,
right?
So it's like, and I feel all this weight, like, man, I should be paying for everybody's meal. And when there's 70 people or 100 people there, every meal would be like $1,000.
Yeah.
And I would start freaking out, and then I was all stressed out. I'm like, should I be paying for this? But I really can't, and so that's kind of weird.
I think that's just all in your own.
I know
head,
it
though,
is,
because
but
I don't think anybody else has ever.
I want to
like
eliminate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think having a T-shirt would be nice. Obviously, that's something I've thought of, and we've talked about before.
We could easily do that. Yeah.
And I don't know about the whole weekend, but I definitely think it would be, maybe we can do like one group meal at Topoco or something like that. So I don't know if you want to try to do all the meals. That'd be quite an undertaking.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But
anyway,
anyway,
one of the nice things about it, just from an organizer perspective, as much as I've been the organizer, is that there's really not much organizing to do. Right. So there's not like me running around, handing out T-shirts and making sure people are where they have to be. It's just kind of hey, we're all going to be here. This is what we're doing, and people just kind of gravitate together, and it just becomes kind of a family atmosphere.
What I would love to do at some point in the future is if I have a house and I meet some neighbors and we could rent out like 2 or 3 houses or 5 houses in the future, that would be sick. That's my goal, my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal would be I'd have the 5 houses and we'd have, just limited to 35 people or something like that, and just book out all those houses and do it that way. But Fontana's cool. The best part about Fontana is you're never in your room anyway.
Right.
I mean, just go out the back gate to my favorite road, Baby Waya, we call it.
Yeah.
And it's just changed your freaking life. It's amazing. And it's the favorite place on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, I've been the first year that we went was
so much fun.
The year that Kyle organized was the first year I went, and I think I've had 5 different cars there. So
yeah,
and we'll probably have a different one this year. So it's just been it's like my favorite time of the year.
It's so
get
good.
away.
So good. Yeah. So anyway, that's what we're going to do in May. So keep an eye out for that, and you check out the Facebook group. Then there's an event, and so go to the Facebook group and go to events.
Yep.
And then there's the event in there.
OG Smokies 2021. Yep.
As of right now, it's informal. Just click attending, so we at least have a reasonable idea.
Yeah.
And then we'll be following up with that group as we get closer with actual details and when to book and all that stuff.
Right. And the hardest thing to do is the group. Well, actually, I say that because we haven't tried to do meals before, but so far it's been the group rooms. And this year, wasn't even planning on trying to do a group block, but that may be changing based on the new information I'm learning.
Well, you won't have to do it. We'll just have Tommy do it. He wants to do it. So you just tell him what to do, and then he'll do it. It'll be great. So maybe another thing we've considered here was to do a fall one too. If we did a spring and a fall or something like that.
Yeah, this time of year would be the time to go for sure when the leaves are changing.
Yeah, man. If I can, I want it so badly. Been struggling.
Well, we'll get you up there. So
I'm
we'll
going.
figure out somehow.
Even if I'm just watching, waving everybody, and I'll go hiking. I'm going. So
yeah.
It's been
I think the last one was one of the most fun, and that was the year that you got the M5 and Michelle got the speeding ticket, which was hilarious. So
I think
she was the only one of the whole trip that got the speeding ticket.
I had my RS there, didn't I? That time?
Yes, you did.
Because the first time I had my GT350,
right,
and then I had my RS. I think I earned some respect because I always talk about not driving, and I think I may have earned some respect to some people that weekend.
Well, that was the Michelle rode with you, and
my
wife wants to divorce me after driving the Dragon or something like clickbait.
She thought we were just out moseying around, and which we kind of are in comparison to what could be done.
Right.
Like if you were like a legit driver driving, like if you're riding shotgun with Lee Keen, she has no idea what it's capable of, but she didn't realize that you're actually using your brakes and you're actually turning, with some G forces and stuff like that.
Yeah. And we try to make it where people that haven't been there before we kind of
buddy
give
up
people the ability to we don't have any expectation that anybody's going to drive outside their ability. So you kind of stick with the people that
the mountains in general just does that. It's like, I've been there 2 or 3 dozen times, and I've seen a couple of people kind of go off and wreck their car, but it was usually something stupid, and we did have one wreck one time.
Debris caused by debris.
It was caused by my superior driving skills, I will say, and that I had a superior car, and the superior driver that was behind me had was on me, and then I was a bit a little too aggressive, and we lost him. I was pretty proud of that, though. Because he's a far superior driver, and I was pretty proud of my my skill set there that day. But it wasn't fun because it smashed his car up, which that car's fine now.
Yeah.
So, but in general, the mountains is so if you are concerned about that, there will be, especially if you have 60, 70, 80, 100 people there'll be 5 or 10 that, go at their own pace. There'll be 5 or 10 really great drivers that kind of go out and do their own thing. And then there'll be the rest of us kind of in the middle. And especially in Fontana, you meet up, and you don't have to go far the Dragon is right up Moonshiners 28 there, right up Hellbender. And like there's 3 or 4 roads just right there, and you could spend the whole weekend right there on those 4 roads.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of naturally have to divide up because you can't keep you can't keep more than maybe 10 cars together. Right. Usually you'll get divided by someone slow or at an intersection or something like that.
But the cool thing about an OG group is there's almost no there's no like bravado. There's none of that crap. We don't have that. Most of us are a certain type, and then there's just this naturalness that's so great. I mean, everybody there it just makes sense. You have something to talk about instantly, not about YouTube videos, but about detailing or your car, or there's just a natural like-mindedness that happens. I've said this 100 times. This magic happens when you get a bunch of like-minded people together, and you don't have to. There's no pleasantries, that annoying, like, wow, the weather kind of thing. It's like you're right into talking about the same kind of stuff that everybody has a common interest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, people that I've met through Obsessed Garage, like the guys that are here. I mean, we have business relationships, and like I call Mike Figuera for all kinds of crazy things all the time on how to fix things and stuff like that. And
it's just a naturalness. So there's a lot of others out there that we haven't met that I'm sure we will in the future.
Absolutely.
So anyway, the Smokies event will be end of May, and we'll keep you posted on whether I make it stupid and crazy or we keep it simple.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it. We'll try to do a little somewhere in the middle. How about that? And
Got it.
Any questions, just post them in the event page, or you can send me a message.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, and then if you're there, you just remind me that I'm not responsible for you, because then you can let me sleep at night. I feel responsible for everybody. So, all right, thanks,
All right.
Shane. Shane's going to go gather up our tool grid because we're going to do a tool grid project at the house, and I'll be watching some Heartland while we're doing some tool grid. It's going to be great. We'll start at episode 1, see how far we get with you guys, and teach you all about it. So, what's going on with you, Chris? Anything exciting?
Oh yeah, it was a very exciting morning. Got a lot done.
Yeah.
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 Lots going on.
You don't seem excited. I don't detect any.
I'm really good at hiding my excitement.
Yeah.
I had there's some good questions I want to get to here.
Okay.
Let's see. We got some chat in the beginning about price of freight cargo. Yep, that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
It's going up. I want to get to a question here real quick. And I brought up the calendar, by the way, to look at those dates because I couldn't find it on the event page. But I think May 23rd is what you guys are talking about. You can tell me otherwise. The last week in May, technically the 30th is Memorial Day. It's probably not it, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the 22nd is Sunday through 25th Wednesday of May.
Got it.
So get that on your calendar, folks. All right, let's see. We had, did you see the thumbnail? Yeah, I guess you saw the thumbnail.
Yep.
People ask about hoodies. When are the hoodies going to be available in the store? The good news is they're now available in the store, as promised last week.
Nice.
So,
are those mine right there?
Maybe.
What size are they?
These are extra large. Your mom was scared you were going to take them. So
Yeah.
So we got the gray one.
Okay.
That's nice. That's probably the lightest weight.
So so what we did is I asked Bryce to get me one of everything that Storm Tech makes because one of my hoodies was Storm Tech that I loved, and so I wanted to get all the Storm Tech hoodies that exist, and then we picked from that batch. I think these are all the same, from the same line, or no, these are different.
Yeah, that's a zip up.
Okay.
Then we got the black one here, which is not a zip up, so it's a pullover.
Yeah. This is the FES spec.
Yep, Tommy FES approved. That one is thicker for sure. This is more.
Yeah.
Has a little more weight to it.
Okay, all embroidered.
Right, got the OG logo.
Yeah, I like
the green one does look pretty sweet.
Yep.
It's also a zip up. It's very soft. So
Yeah.
they're all three in the store. They are somewhat limited quantities, so
I don't like limited quantities.
Well, that's what we got. We told our employees they can't buy them yet because we want to make them available to customers. So if you want to grab one, because probably in a couple of weeks we're going to open those up to employees.
Yeah, and they're not cheap.
No.
They're not cheap hoodies. So I just said, I want the hoodie I want, and whatever it costs, it costs. And so, they're not cheap. So don't frickin' complain. Don't cry like a bunch of babies. But, they're not like your standard run-of-the-mill hoodie. Like, even the regular, like the dialed-in zip-up that we have is kind of a standard, but a higher quality standard type hoodie. These are different quality. They're more like a jacket. Especially that black one weighs like 8 pounds.
The black one's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're in the store now, merchandise, hoodies, and jackets. So I know Martin wanted to grab a green one because he's all about the green, so hopefully you can get one, Martin. All right, let's see here. Let me get to a question. Next video, we already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Here's a Cox hose reel question for you from Mike on Instagram. Is a Cox hose reel mounted overhead strong enough to hold a suspended air gun, or will it drop down from the weight? Is there a spring adjustment to adjust how much load until the reel gives?
There is no spring adjustment, but yes, it will. I hang the Acura 1 off of mine all the time, and it doesn't fall down to the ground.
All right, let's see another quick garage question for you here from Sean. Hey, Matt, any input about sizing a mini split for my garage? I have a standard 2-car garage.
Mm-hmm.
He's in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
The walls are finished and insulated.
Yep.
Had 3 local companies come by and each quoted a different size, 9, 12, and 15K BTU. Looking for some direction on the appropriate size for my garage.
What size did he say his garage is?
Typical standard 2-car garage.
So you generally, this is from Brian Orr's company Kalos that kind of educated me on this. You dehumidifier mini splits have a difficult time with dehumidification, and so one way to ensure that you get better dehumidification to the space or the area is that you undersize it a bit, so it has to work a little bit harder, so it's running more often. I would probably say like my garage is probably bigger than his. My garage is about 900 square feet. I have an 18,000 BTU. It really called for like a 24,000 BTU, but we undersized it to 18,000. So I would probably guess that a 12,000 BTU would make sense for that area to run a little more often, which is a little bit less anyway. And I would stay away from Carrier. I would do Mitsubishi if you could, or Daikin. I've been spending more time with these Daikin versions. I've seen a couple of places that have them, and they're pretty nice. They don't look as nice as a Mitsubishi, the fit and finish of them, but they seem to perform quite well.
Let's see. Our buddy Dan Pfeiffer up in Minnesota says, "Hey, Chris, enjoyed watching your entire day in the life and really enjoyed it. Have you watched it yet?"
I haven't yet. No, I need to watch all of them. I usually watch the videos when they're, and I was up there in the at the Atlanta doing the house, and so I'm way behind on them.
Gotcha. Very cool to see a different side of OG that isn't normally shared. Hope to be able to travel someday and visit again. Yeah, Dan, come on down.
So your video is only on Inside the Hex.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happens when you run too long like that.
I had a really good conversation yesterday with a couple of people about an Obsessed Garage app and a new hosting source outside of Vimeo. So there is a very real possibility in 2 or 3 months that we could have an app. She could take Hex Mobile. We would house the public podcast on there as well, and hopefully have some sort of feedback to YouTube, or we could house a lot of different things on this application. So stay tuned for that. It could be really cool.
All right, we have a super chat from Improved Garage, $10 US. Hey, Matt, can you go into specific differences between Sabre and Sonic MSS cabinets?
Mm-hmm.
Assume that you're a middle-class guy with 2.5 kids and a $100,000 income.
Mm-hmm.
Both are a stretch, but obtainable. What do you buy?
Yeah, we were just talking about that with the moderators, that the Sabre wasn't quite as big of a stretch, and now it's like a Sabre array, like a decent size, like a 15 or 18 foot array, is going to be approaching $10,000, where $7,500, $8,000, where they used to be $3,500, $4,000. Now, a lot of that has been due to rising import tariffs, because they are Chinese-made cabinets. Also now because of transit costs, so we've continued to see prices rise in the cabinets. But now the delta between Sabre and Sonic is not so great. So I think the first, excluding the look, you're going to buy the Sonic cabinets, because they, you can do the Sonic inlays or not. You have more choices of cabinets. You have a corner cabinet option. The uppers are not nearly as big, but it's a lot easier to install. You don't have to worry about doing backers or bracing. If you have a studded wall, you don't have to worry about mounting it to block and dealing with tapcons. So from a fit, finish, pure function perspective, the Sonic, you choose the Sonic cabinets now that the pricing isn't all that different. Now, I would argue that the Sabre cabinets in my current garage, especially with that with the Blue Tree top and the now backsplash and the TV, I would argue that that's, if not the best looking cabinet array in the world, it is up there. So from a it's a Chinese made cabinet, just so simple, so clean. I think the uppers look a lot better than they do in the more professional grade, Sonic stuff, where they have the horizontal uppers that are sort of integrated into the back air, the whatever you call it, the back pieces of the cabinet array, and the wire pipes that hold them in place. So the main difference is going to be aesthetics, though, if you're comparing the two. The drawer quality is pretty similar. Sabre drawers are a little let's call it floppier, looser, a little easier to pull in and out. So floppy is probably a bad word, because they're not sloppy. So they're just more malleable. They move in and out quicker. And they have like a snap back in place. The drawer glides on the Sabre, it feels more sturdy, but it also doesn't push back in as seamlessly. And so neither is really a negative, it's just a difference. So he was asking me for differences. I feel the drawers feel more substantial on a Sabre cabinet than it does on a Sonic, but I don't think they are more substantial. They just feel more substantial. The handle system on the Sonic is far superior. The handles on the Sabre will cut you. They're real sharp on the edges, but I think they look a lot better. So the Sabre handles look fantastic. That matte aluminum finish that they have, but there's sharp edges on the two edges. You'll rip a few pair of shorts, as you're working on the setup. The Sabre does have legs, but it doesn't look very good mounted to the floor. So you really want to mount Sabre cabinets if you can, where Sonic, you really don't want to mount Sonic. You could, but you really don't want to mount it. The assembly, how you put the Sonic together is much different. Those cabinets, again, are a bolted together array, where again your Sabre stuff, you're going to bolt the fronts together, but that's about it. You're generally going to bolt the front, top, and bottom on an upper, and just the top together. Whereas Sabre's one big ecosystem that you bolted together. So those are some of the main differences. I think that it comes down to the look of the uppers, really. If you're going to make that choice, it also comes down to what tools you're going to do, because the Sonic foam inlays will fit in a Sabre drawer, but it doesn't fit right. It doesn't fit pressure fit like it does into a Sonic. So I hope that answers this question. But there's no question. I mean, they're the two of the best cabinets in the world. Moduline, I think, also is really nice, but I'm not as big of a fan of aluminum. Lista is great. Lista, I've said this many times, Lista is something I'm going to tackle later on in the business cycle of Obsessed Garage. I tried to do it in the beginning. I would need a bunch of capital, and I would need a bunch of people dedicated to just that. It's so custom that it's so complicated and really, really difficult. Plus, they don't make a corner cabinet, which is kind of dumb. So my favorite cabinets in the world are Sonic MSS Plus. My second favorite is Lista. Third would be MSS, and then fourth would be Sabre. Closely, if you're not going to do Sonic tools, then I would actually favor the Sabre cabinets over Sonic MSS. MSS Plus is in a different class.
John Bartlett wants to know, did Matt ever receive the bike lift for the garage, or is that not happening anymore?
It is. We're just waiting. I mean, I think he's had production halts and stuff like that. I contacted him. He said it was supposed to be August. Then he said October, and I'm guessing now it's probably December or something. So I have 2 of them on order, so they're coming at some point.
Neil White wants to know, hey, Matt, which is better? Which do you prefer, Angel Wax Eden or Bliss?
I like Eden, but everybody else likes Bliss better. Like everybody. Yeah, Bliss is a like a more manly, musky smell. Eden is more of a fruity smell.
It's fruity pebbles sort of thing.
Yeah.
Nandato TV wants to know, when are we getting some more E92 M3 videos?
That's a good question. We do have on the docket to do like some really highly produced, really awesome videos of each car. Soon we'll be probably have a little bit of an update when I've got to call Barry from 3DM and get him down here. Otherwise he's never going to do it. Get him down here to talk about the Olin suspension. But yeah, E92 will get some love at some point.
Let's see. Dan Sigmund on Instagram says, I'm curious what you do with CSL when coating items you can't polish when it fails. Do you just try to recoat at some time and hope it adheres? That's never really talked about. Mm-hmm. Also, some wheels will be very hard to polish it off, or also matte finish.
That's one of those problems, especially you got like matte Porsche wheels. I've talked about this a lot, where when the coating fails, what do? You can't polish it. You'll shine up your matte wheels or mess them up, and it won't even take the coating off the porous sections, the low spots. I think you just try to reapply it. I've never done it. I'm going to do it for the first time on my M3 wheels. I've ever since I've been coating wheels, since I was using OptiCoat 2.0 on wheels, probably 6-7 years ago, I haven't had a set of wheels long enough, or a car long enough, to have to recoat it. But my M3, the coating's kind of worn out, and so I'm going to have to do it. And yeah, I think what you do is you just clean it really well, and you put the coating on, and it sticks to what it sticks to, and it doesn't to what it doesn't.
So stay tuned, Dan. It's coming soon. Ben Finner wants to know, what is the Beadmaker tree watered with? Any special fertilizer? Mine isn't producing this season. That's the secret, Ben. If we told you, then you could have your own. We don't want that. You got to get it from us.
Yeah, you got to buy it from us.
Yeah. Let's see. From Mark Matt08X on Instagram. When are you planning to finish your AR630 wall mount setup in your house? Will we see a video of that install?
Yes, next week, or maybe the following week. I've got it all set up and ready to go. We're going to do a step-by-step tutorial type video on that. For shorts and for the channel or for the website, and Mike and I will do our normal long format on that as well. So I've got it ready to go. It's the next project in the garage. So very soon.
Then he follows up with, will you have more wash and talks at home once that's set up?
Yes.
No more racing the sun here. Although now the time change, that might throw you off a little.
No, I'll still wash here because I'll it just play the time of the day.
Mark Waltermeyer on Facebook says, looking at exhaust for 718 GTS 4.0. Is the sole over axle pipe loud enough on its own, or should I look at something else? Would love to avoid drone as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it is on the GT4. It's perfect, I think. So there's some I guess depending on your sensitivity of drone, there's no like annoying resonant drone. There's noise. You can hear noise, but there's no drone on the GT4, even with the valves disconnected.
All right, let's see here. We have Garrett Koonsman ask a Milwaukee question for you. I know you like these.
Yep.
I spend a lot of time on the road, and oftentimes I'm called to assist with stranded motorists. I want a compact 2-tool set for the back of my vehicle for tire inflation and wheel changing. Being that the tire inflator is M12, which M12 impact is best for tire changing on rare occasions, knowing that M18 is better? The fuel stubby? If so, would you do 3/8 or 1/2 inch drive? And would you do the kit for both, or inflator is tool only since the stubby comes with 2 batteries?
Yeah, I mean, the fuel stubby is not going to break most lug nuts loose. I mean, you can sit there hammering away. So you're going to have to break it loose with a breaker bar of some sort, or a T-handle or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to stay M12, then you'd want the 1/2 inch the 1/2 inch stubby, and you'd want to get like the little Schwaben 3-piece kit of different size, different like 17, 19, and 21 millimeter. Sonic has one too, but they're all made from the same Chinese place, I'm sure, because they all look the same. Like, there's 100 companies that have the same like plastic covered little lug nut remover sockets. But yeah, definitely the stubby. You definitely want the tool, the kit. It's a value to do that. We get the 2 batteries, and the CP 2.0 batteries would be fine for that kind of travel. The only thing to consider is that you'd probably want to get. I think the smart thing to do would be to get then the batter, or get the inflator, get it as a tool only. So get the stubby as a kit, the inflator as a tool only, and then buy one XC 6.0. So extra storage capacity. That way you could use it on either tool if you needed to. But yeah, you would. That's what I think I would. That's the setup that I would have.
Chase T. Meyer on Facebook says, "Hey Matt, when we saw your gun safe in the home tour video, what's the OG firearm of choice?"
I have 3 guns, and I know very little about them. I told the story many times where I went to Shoot Straight. Isn't that the place? And I drove there in my GT3. This is the blue GT3, because all my Merrill Lynch buddies were telling me I needed to get some guns. And so I'm like, all right, I don't really want it. So I got my concealed carry permit. So I took the test and did all that crap. And I bought a Sig Sauer P233. It's the one with the Navy thinger, the Navy seal on it. Or P263 or something like that. P233, I thought it was. 226. Let me see. Yeah. So I have a Sig P226. And then I have a red, not a red dot, but I have a laser whatever thingy on that thing. I've got a Daniel Defense M4A, I believe, with a tritium ACOG on it. That's the sight, and I had it sighted in by one of my buddies, ex-Marine. And then I have a Beretta, some sort of like tactical shotgun with a red dot on it for some reason, because I had the red dot left over from when I got the Tritium ACOG. I've shot them all once. That's it. I don't know how to use them. It's pointless because I'm probably going to shoot my foot off, shoot my eye out if I try to use one of them. But I'm sure I could figure it out pretty quickly. But as far as the issue is having them when you're under stress, and if you don't practice and you don't know what to do, it's not going to come naturally. I'm going to be sitting there fumbling around trying to figure it out, just pulling triggers. So those are the 3 guns I have. I have probably 3,500 rounds of 5.56. I've got a 12 or 1,500 rounds of 9mm, and then another probably 400 or 500 rounds of buckshot, and then a few dozen rounds of birdshot. So I've got the prepper's base guide for guns taken care of. So that's what I got.
There you go, Chase.
So that's what's in my. I have a Fort Knox something or other safe that cost me $5,000 or something like that. It's a 26 wide, whatever, little mini safe. I could fit more guns in there, but I just don't have any interest. But I went there with the car, and then they started showing me all this budget bull crap, and I went out and pointed at my car. I said I drove here, and then they took me over to the 1911s. I said, well, ratchet it back a little bit here, and then that's when I bought what I bought.
Let's see. Jeff C. in the chat says, any chance of a small run of 4X or 5X hoodies for us big boys who can't put down the zebra cakes? I don't know if those come in that size.
That's
honestly.
the problem, is nobody makes them, and then we've tried doing this, and then it's some shoddy piece of crap shirt, and we look like idiots.
Yeah.
So what you guys need to do is keep sending me zebra cakes, so then I have to wear a 4 or 5X, and then it'll force me to find them for you.
That was going to be my advice. That's your only hope, is that Matt gets there. Then we'll find one. Or just put down the zebra cakes. Get down to a 2X. That'll work. Let's see. We have R. Milan on Instagram. Says, hey, Matt, when putting together a detailing cart, do you have any suggestions on fastening to a metal cart? Location, steps to secure down.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to use a lot of self-tappers, but I would be inclined to use a lot of bolts, as long as I get underneath or get both to both sides, so that way I can secure it. I'd probably use a lot of lock washers as well to make sure things aren't vibrating or coming loose. And so I would tap it or drill a hole and then put a through bolt and then put a nut on the end of it with a lock washer on like my hose reel, on my Mosmatic wand holder, and on the pressure washer you'd use anti-vibration clamps, little C clamps that you'd put over the legs. So if you can put anti-vibration clamps on, that'll help it from vibrating on the thing. If you have something that you could put that clamp on. But yeah, I would use stainless hardware, and I would use nuts and bolts with lock washers. Or nylocks. You could use nylon locking nuts as well.
We got a big super chat from Francisco Nunez.
Ooh, I like that.
$49.99 US.
Nice.
Hey, Matt, I've been a follower since 2014. Unfortunately, my business consumes most of my time. But I just bought a new Raptor in black. Mm-hmm. What coating do you recommend for the black paint? And do you have anyone in Houston you would recommend for maintenance washes?
So for a Raptor, I'm inclined to really highly recommend that you go and get one of the professional grade, longer lasting coatings like G-Technic Crystal Serum Ultra. That's what I'm going to put on Michelle's. But I mean, again, if he's saying he's going to hire somebody to do it, I would do like Seacort's Finest or Seacort's Reserve, something like that, or this isn't a blanket statement, but generally the detailers using Ceramic Pro are not of the same ilk as someone using Seacort's or using Modesta, or that's another thing. Was it Modesta BCO4, BCO1, or I forget which model. So Modesta, G-Tech, Seacort's would be like the three major coatings. I would prefer to have CSU, Crystal Serum Ultra, installed on the car after a correction, and then I would want that topped with what's it escaping me? Not Gliss. Gliss is the Seacort's version.
XO?
Yeah, XO. So I'd do that, and I'd do a single coat of CSU because it won't lay on itself, and 2 coats of XO. And I would do that. I don't know of. I'm sure I know some people in Houston, but not off the top of my head. The best thing to do is to go in the Obsessed Garage Facebook group and just hit them up and say, hey, who should I send my car to in Houston?
We got a follow-up from our buddy David up in Alabama. You might remember last week he got the brown on his tire and was wondering how to get it off his tire. So he recommended Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Tarex/brown mark on the tire update. Terminator took it right off. Does Terminator break down the surface of the rubber? Tire was clean, but still got a lot of black/brown on my microfiber. Thanks.
Yeah, remember that rubber is essentially leaching, or you're taking some of the UV inhibitors out every time you remove a lot of the black. Like if you took the rubber trimmer on your windows and you kept using isopropyl alcohol, it'll keep taking black off until there's no more, I guess your wetness to the rubber, or you're taking out all the stuff in it. And so what I think Terminator's doing is it is doing some stripping, but it's also doing there's almost some like coating of the rubber, if you will. And so Terminator a lot of times will take out scuffs and things like that, not just because it's removing the dirt around it, but because it's leaving something behind as well. To kind of it kind of just changes the pigment a bit of the tire, and it does a great job of prepping for any kind of tire dressing. Whatever reason, like our tire dressing works really well after doing Terminator. Mineral spirits will clean tires really well, but for whatever reason, the tire dressings I find don't work as well with mineral. I think mineral spirits dries out the tire too much. So Terminator's cleaning the tire but not drying it out, so it works well. It might be the citric acid or whatever that's in the Terminator that helps with that.
Jute Wilson knows how to get his statement read here. He says, Samford is playing at the University of Florida tomorrow. That's correct. Go Dogs, alma mater of real OGs. That's correct. My two alma maters playing tomorrow. Go Samford. Let's see. Renzo has a super chat here, $5 US. Hello, 2 questions. Which lapel mics do you use in your videos?
Mm-hmm.
One. Was that Shure something?
It's Sennheiser.
Hmm.
Sennheiser EW112, I believe. We used it, so Sennheiser AXS now. It used to be the EW versions, or I've already forgotten them on, or something 110, 112. But now we use the AXS system, and then I buy the Gold series, the MKE mics, MKE2, which are like really expensive mics. And the last couple of videos, we had some issues. I crushed or lost the little windscreen thingy.
Yeah, make sure you get those.
And so it would get stuck in like the middle of my neck, and then it would sound like this, or I couldn't hear what I was saying. So people are freaking out. How dare you? I'm like, we have 2,200 videos, and like 5 of them have bad audio. You freaking crybabies. Sorry. So when that happens, we could just choose to not launch the video, or we can choose to put it up and you deal with a few little mumbles.
You didn't want to reshoot and re-Swiss tracks your garage.
What you guys need to do is hire 6 people to hold mic booms everywhere you go. I love that. Send me more money. Buy more stuff, and I'll do that. You can mark my words. I will do that.
All right. Second question here. Do you have a recommendation for carpet/upholstery shampoo?
No. I'm not a good question. I'm not a good source for that. Generally, you would use just a diluted all-purpose cleaner and then a scrub brush of some sort and do it that way. But I don't think I've ever cleaned a carpet in my life, so I'm not a good guy to ask that question of.
Superior Connections has a question here in the chat, and forgive me if I'm rereading a question essentially, but GT4 question.
Mm-hmm.
I have a deposit with my local Florida Porsche dealer waiting for my allocation. Is the Soul race exhaust with OAP loud enough without getting headers, or should I get the headers too?
You don't want the race exhaust unless you want your brain to explode. I mean, it's crazy drone, insanely loud, and the tone isn't super pleasant. I think you want just over axle pipes. If you want a little more amplitude, the way to go is over axle pipes, do their rear section, and then go and plug. You have to plug the sound composer port, which you have to take apart a bunch of stuff in the interior. I didn't actually do it, but the guys at Soul suggested that's a good way to go if you want a little more amplitude. My car has just over axle pipes, but if you do the headers, over axle, and race exhaust, I did it. you're going to freaking hate it. I can promise you that. It'll last 3 days, and you'll want to end your life.
Let's see here. We have from my WR
Memory, whatever you get your hands on.
Nothing new. It'll be used.
Yeah.
More on that in the future. Let's see. Waba and Scotty Ellis are still helping me with that.
You're looking for LS 400 or something?
I'm going to give me like a 2002 Lexus and cruise around. And
there you go. Try to hit some sort of mileage record or something.
I want to get 700,000 miles.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tim Schaefer on Facebook wants to know, what is your recommended technique to restore and make the plastic interior and exterior components look their best, specifically flat or lightly textured parts? Is there a way to correct plastic that is marred or shows some wear?
Yeah, you can't really correct it. You could sand it a little bit if you had to, but that kind of tends to scuff it up. But what you want to do is you want to clean it really well with isopropyl alcohol, or like a surface prep like G-Technic. God, why are all my model numbers leaving my brain here? So you would clean it well with that, which is going to dry it out a bit, and then you're going to grab some solution finish. Depending on how chalky and gross it is, solution finish will seep into the pores and help restore it. Then you'll want to do a CSL XO combo to it. So Crystal Serum Light topped with a coat or two of XO, and it'll look fantastic. So I'd let the solution finish sit overnight, then come back, wipe it off really well, and not with any alcohol or anything. Just wipe it so it's dry. And then do your coating application, and your plastic will probably look pretty darn good.
Hey Matt, what of the Krenzla 1322? Cheers.
It's HD7, I believe. There's HD7, HD9. HD7 is the closest equivalent, and it's better. I mean, we wish we had 220 volts.
Dan Pfeiffer, buddy, he's correct, and so you would know this, but he says Chris can grow a bead maker tree, but he can't figure out a lime tree. That's very true. My lime tree doesn't do jack. It's
not working.
No. We have a super chat from Sweet Jazz 2007, $5 US. I was viewing one of the pressure washer videos. I nearly chucked my remote into my new LG OLED TV when Matt's neck girth kept rubbing on the mic. That's fine.
Yeah, that was, again, the little screen that I've had for years. We lost it somewhere, and we had one coming, or 6 coming, to replace it. And I thought, well, do I even need that thing? Well,
yes.
We need it. All of the Cree consumer stuff is not great. The problem with the commercial stuff is you have 0 to 10 volt dimming. So they're not forward phase, and so you would have to have a different switch. You'd have to run a line. You'd have to run a new Cat 6 line or Cat 5 line. You could use that, or run a control line back to your either your hub of some sort or to your switch. Now you can go wireless with it. You could put like a Lutron Vive Connect, little Vive box in the attic somewhere, as long as it's plugged in, and then you could run your control wire to that, and then that could communicate wirelessly to a Pico. So you don't have to get all the way back to the switch. But I'm sure they've got some. I haven't headed down that path. We will for sure. But the only difficulty again is it's not a forward. They don't have a traditional forward phase type dimming solution or switchable solution. It's always going to be 0 to 10 volt, and so you would have to have, you can't just hook up the light to your current fixture. You would have to run some wires.
Ben Finner here in the chat. I'm gonna read these to you one at a time, nice and slow, because he lost me here, but I think this might make sense to you.
Okay.
He says he asked this on Facebook, but repeating here, I'm thinking he meant in the group. Save an action by keeping the 40 degree spray tip on the wand, and have a second to swap onto the shotgun. Then maybe the wand doesn't need a quick disconnect. Then maybe one wand per spray pattern if desired. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about just having having a fixed nozzle on the end of the wand, because since you're never really putting an accessory on it anyway, I just like for the quick draw, the convenience of it, the not having to have another tip sitting around somewhere. I like it the way it is, where I have my tip that's interchangeable that I swap from long wand to no wand. And then, of course, I got the foam cannon I got to deal with. So my preference is to keep it that way, rather than doing what he's talking about is putting a tip like fixed onto the end of the wand, since you never put any accessory there. But I just think the best way to do it is the way that we've been doing it thus far.
Well, if that had been a difference maker, he said he would have taken his kickback in the form of zebra cakes, please. Let's see. We have
what we are working on, though, which I don't know is going to be viable, was to do a rubber, protector for the gun. It's on the long list.
So your Tesla just pulled back in, and Raz was driving it. He said, the Tesla is fixed, Palmas a hundo. Hash foam grid packages should I purchase first? All my cars are metric only.
To remove a water spot, you need to use a chemical to remove it. The second step is you could try and dilute it as dilutable as possible to start, and then work your way up and see what it does to your PPF, because it might ruin it. It very likely will. Is to use Meguiar's Wheel Brightener, which is an acid wheel cleaner. I think that we sprayed some on. What was it that we hit PPF with? Something. Oh no, that was panel wipe that we hit with a PPF one time, and it really jacked it up. None of that's probably going to work. And so then what your paint is, I had to swell the paint, or I had to heat the paint so the pores would open up, and then I would have to basically polish really quickly to get the thing removed. But the risk there is if you don't heat it properly, you don't heat it at the right temp, then the paint will swell, the water spot will disappear, it'll look like you removed it, but then it'll come back. Now,
Prue on Facebook, my wife's new to her vehicle, has ugly wood grain interior trim, and the manufacturer doesn't offer alternative colors to replace it. What are your thoughts on purchasing a tasteful vinyl wrap to cover up the ugly?
I don't think there is such a thing. Yeah, I'm the wrong guy to ask that. I hate vinyl. I'd want to repaint. Find some cheap paints cheaply.
All right, Hayden on Instagram says, hey, Matt, I consider myself a pretty good detailer, but I only ever work on mine and my parents/siblings' vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
I have a family friend who wants me to detail his truck, and I'm wondering if you have any tips for going from personal vehicles to another, you could say client, vehicle.
Charge lots of money. You have to explain to them that this is going to take you like 20 hours to do, and that you don't do this regularly. And if I'm going to do it, it's going to cost you a lot of money. But if you were to buy all this equipment, just throw some wild number out, it would cost you $10,000 or $12,000 to buy all this equipment. And so I would charge them $1,000, $1,200, something like that to do the car, or more. And they're probably not going to want you to do it then. So, but doing it for a couple $100, it's just not. It's going to make you start hating it. Now that couple $100 is relative, right? So if you're not making a lot of money, a couple $100 can be really changing. But I would charge a lot, especially if you know what you're doing. If you're following what I'm telling you to do, that's worth a lot. If you know how to do it now.
All right, let's see. We have lots of people talking about the audio is perfect on the podcast, but the stream is cutting out every minute. Uh-oh. We have any stream issues again? No weather to blame it on this time.
Yeah, you can see it drop in and out.
Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. Don't know what the deal is there. From Chandler Ross. This is a good question for you. Hey, Matt, you chase excellence, but I never hear you fall into the trap of perfectionism or even use that word much. How do you balance the chase without the pitfall of perfectionism?
I mean, I'm certainly a perfectionist, but my definition of using this term again, perfectionism is relative. I mean, there are different standards of perfect, I think, but perfect really should be a finite point. There shouldn't be a range of perfect, but I at least create the illusion of a sliding scale of perfect. And oftentimes what helps keep me in check is my waning interest or new interest that supersedes the previous interest. So for instance, my janky kitchen cabinets you're going to see, my interest of having them perfected has waned. But there have been times where it doesn't. And so I just use my own sort of natural interest to manage the perfectionist pursuit. And hope that it doesn't cripple me one day. So, So it's a work in progress for me personally, but I think if you can accept your desire for being perfect, if you can accept it, that you won't have a need for it as much anymore, and so that acceptance will allow you to move on to something else, to make something else better and approach perfect. Because to me, perfect is generally unattainable. And when you accept that perfectionism or something perfect is unattainable, if you can accept that, then you're journey bound rather than destination fixed. And if you ever do get to perfect, then it's a lot of times then that's the end. Who the heck wants to get to the end? I want to stay in the middle, or so I tell myself.
We got a question from HD Bike Life on Instagram. He emailed you about possibly using Dynamat on the inside of the cabinet walls to reduce vibration from sub and speakers. Have you tried it yet, and did it work?
No, I have a roll of it, but I haven't tried it yet. It will work. It's just a question of how much do I want to do. One of the problems with doing it in the cabinets on the edge is I've got the cabinet on the left where one of the subwoofers has like 6 or 7 drawers, so there's nowhere to put Dynamat. I'd have to take all of the drawer glides off, which you don't want to do because then you lose the level and you lose they never work right when you take those glides back off. So, or put the glides back on. So I haven't done it, but I'll probably do it to some of the doors. But I'm going to try to cut it where it looks really nice, so it doesn't look janky.
All right, No Cab Darb on Instagram says, "Hey Matt, can you explain a little more the reserve your spot and how that affects us on Black Friday?"
I mean, we're going to sell out of everything that we have in stock really quickly, and so the reserve your spot. The reason why we rushed to get this done was so that way people would still order stuff. And so you can order whatever you want. If it's in stock, it'll show, add to cart. If it's not, it'll say reserve your spot. And if you order 3 things that are in stock and 3 things that are not, or you're reserving your spot, the 3 things that you ordered will ship rather quickly. The earlier you order in the Black Friday sale, the quicker you'll get it. So the people ordering Sunday will probably be a week out. The people who order Friday will probably be, if you order really early, and they may or may not open it up live a little early. You have to keep an eye out. Those people that order the earliest will get shipped the quickest. And then every 100 or 200 orders we print, we always pull all the Hex Pluses to the top so they get some semblance of priority. But that's how it's going to work. And then as the items arrive in the future, most of which probably won't be here for Christmas, so be prepared for that. Talk to your spouse. Talk about wrapping up some, like putting the invoice in a box and wrap it up for you. Tell your spouse that you're okay with not opening it up on Christmas Day, that you would rather have it, have what you want and wait for it. And then we're going to scramble and fight and claw and chase and try to get you your stuff as soon as humanly possible on all things. But that's how it's going to work. So it'll be seamless for you. Just go in, add everything to the cart you want. Discount will apply to all of it. All the reserve your stuff spot, you're locking in the price. So in January, when all these companies come to me and raise the price on everything, it won't go up for you. And because I think a lot of them are just holding off till the first of the year. And then you'll get your stuff. You'll be locked in line. You'll lock your spot down.
Christopher Dede here in the chat wants to know: does Krensla, or does the Black Friday deal apply to Krensla? Basically,
yes.
Yes, it does. Very few products that it does not apply to.
And Milwaukee is a yes.
Oh yes.
Milwaukee's at 10% off, free shipping. It's a go, which never happens
on all Milwaukee.
All Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
Every one of them. So it applies to the sale. I guess the Hex people, I'm just going to lose money on them. So the Hex Plus people, 15% off and free shipping. And I'm just going to be giving you Milwaukee for free. And actually, in most cases, I'm paying you to take Milwaukee. That's a really stupid business move, but I love my Hex Plus people.
Let's see. H2O here in the chat says, "Hey, Maddie. Yes, you. We love you, man." There you go.
Thanks. Appreciate
From
that.
Dubai. He's in Dubai.
I appreciate
with
that.
With a red heart just for you.
Some news. Did I talk about Canada yet?
Nope. We try not to.
So I talked to a an international tax advisor.
Okay.
Spent an hour or so on the phone with them about how to do this. So I've got a pretty good understanding of what I need to do, and I have to. I'm going to start maybe next week or the following. Start calling vendors and start lining up. How am I going to start to get product there? Then I'm going to say go, and then it's probably going to cost somewhere between $25,000 and $100,000 in legal fees and attorneys and things like that to get the infrastructure, get the structure set up to be able to even get in Canada. And then I have to choose a place. I really want to do it in Calgary. I really do. But is Calgary 2 hours difference? What's the time difference? I would guess they're on mountain time, which would be 2 hours. I guess I'm going to have to get vaccinated so that I can go there.
2 hours.
Which I don't want to frickin' do. I'm so deathly afraid of needles. If I can figure out a way for someone to come to my house and do it, I'm sure I could.
Oh.
But I don't want that crap. I don't need it. I freaking already had the thing. But anyway, I might just do it just to appease the people. So would I rather have a couple of shots and deal with the pain of that, or would I rather make a couple $1 million, which I think is realistic. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. So, or I just have somebody here that is and go find me a place, So
I'll go to Canada. They'll let me in.
You're allowed to go there?
Yeah, I'm allowed to go.
Okay.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure you would really like that too. So somebody would like. Brad's also offered up to go.
Yeah, me and Brad will go set everything up.
Yeah, but I want to go there. I want to be there. I want to go visit the Heartland set.
That's really why we're going.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I want to go shoot a couple videos with Rick in Calgary. It's snowing there.
Amber will be our first customer.
I doubt it. I wonder if I could talk her into teach her how to wash her truck. I bet you I could. Let's make a YouTube video teaching her, as one of the top 1% of Heartland fans, to teach her how to wash a truck. I don't think Michelle would like that though.
And her horse. Can you wash your horse?
With GSF?
Yeah.
Foam the horse. I bet you I could probably teach them how to use a foam cannon to wash their animals.
Save them all kinds of time.
Yeah.
Now we got your in.
Yep.
Oh man.
So anyway, Canada's the reason why I started this process is the CPA reached out to me. Just said, hey, we do some international stuff. I know you've been talking about this for a while. If we can help, we'd love to help. And it's time.
All right.
Wish you Canadians would stop pretending like you're all dying up there. How many COVID cases do they have? Like 11 in the whole country? Stop freaking worrying about this crap. It's not that bad. Open it up. Let's get to business. So write a letter to your whatever you call it, your parliamentary people, the wig-wearing people or something. Write a letter to them. Tell them you want to be able to let Mormons show up to Canada to get you some foam cannons. We'll put some antibacterial on there that doesn't do anything to a virus, but you can pretend that it does. Yeah, we'll get you some Microban or something like that, and you can pretend it's helping you.
All right.
Well, I'll even make an Obsessed Garage mask for Canada. How's that
there
sound?
You go.
Some cotton piece of diaper that does nothing.
With the little red flag on there, or red leaf.
Yeah, a little red leaf with a little OG hex next to it. Yeah, I'll make you some masks if you let me in. Just for Canada only, though. Forget it. Australia's not going to let me in there for sure.
All right.
So we're working on international, and once Canada's done, then that'll teach me how to do it. And once the tax advisor was telling me that once you open up Pandora's box, and once you get through the pain of that,
right,
and now you're going to be highly scrutinized on all fronts, both the U.S. and all these other countries. But once you go through that headache, then you're good to go. And I'm trying to explain to him. I said, look, what are we selling Canada? $400,000 or $500,000 a year now, something like that.
Probably more now. Yeah.
I think it would be an instant 5-6 million, really quickly, in short order. We would sell a lot of stuff in Canada. And so for you Canadians, again, to remind you, what I would do is we would import the products direct to our Canadian distribution center. So we'd cut out the double taxation. You're still going to have all your bullcrap taxes that you guys have to pay, just like all the bullcrap taxes we have to pay here in the U.S. So you're still going to have to pay that. But you're not going to have to pay double. Like when we pay whatever import duties and taxes of Mosmatic comes in, and we don't pay that, but it's getting passed on to us, which is then getting passed on to you, and then you have to pay again when we ship a Mosmatic gun to Canada. And so I'm going to cut all that out, and then we'll also deal in Canadian dollars, so you don't have to worry about currency. I'll have to worry about the currency exchange. And then I'm going to stockpile, $10 million in Canada as my backup plan. I'm going to go live in Alberta. That's the plan. How's that sound to you?
We're one step closer. That's what you're saying.
Well, one conversation closer. But I know what I need to do now. It's called a ULC, Unlimited Liability Corporation. That doesn't sound good.
No, unlimited.
But it is called a ULC, Unlimited Liability Corp.
Invasion HD wants to know, can you order items from OG with the Black Friday discount and pick them up at OG?
Sure.
Yeah.
Come on over.
Yeah, it'll just be very busy, so be ready for that. But yeah, you can certainly do that. We get more and more visitors now. FCalBro23 wants to know, when are you putting out stereo system builds for the garage on the website? Like bundles of speakers and amps and nodes, etc.
Hopefully, we're back to, we get our media team back to full strength. We're processing through the videos from Atlanta. Brad is salivating to get this done. He's got a really solid handle on it. So him and Bryce have been working closely together to get this thing done. So you're going to see a major ramp up of building out the product line, and then we can start to build the package line. So I would say mid-December.
There you go.
Let's put a little pressure on them.
We also need the actual product. Well, I guess we
have a lot of it.
Yeah. Ted and I were looking at it today. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to get to us.
Yep.
All right, who is it that asked about the button? Oh, there it is. Can Cuscal. What's the purpose of that green button in the back? I've been wondering for a few podcasts now.
What are we talking about?
That one. We can't tell you. You got to come to OG and visit and find out all about it.
I don't think it does anything. It's when the alarm. I think it's when the alarm is active. You can press the button to exit.
Yeah, fireworks go off.
Yeah.
What's the OG recommended speaker wire? CMAC wants to know.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters much. If you're doing in-wall rated, I forget what Michael Szejcki was telling me about. There's a really high quality in-wall rated wire that we're doing, but wire doesn't really matter all that much. I don't think as much as we used to think it did. So I usually run 12 gauge Metra or 12 gauge monoprice wire is what I normally run in-wall. But Kimber cables are freaking awesome. Audio Quest. Blue Jeans cables are a nice, inexpensive option. So check those guys out for speaker wire and things like that. But generally, I'm just running like monoprice 12 gauge CI rated install. I have an old set of Monster M2.2 cables for my center and fronts, which are I think pretty fantastic cables for what they were like $600 or $700 a piece or something like that back in the day.
Ian Sapp wants to know if you ever used Avalon ceramic coating and how it compares to the one you guys sell on the website.
It's garbage. It's Chinese garbage that they're branding and marketing like crazy. And so the guy knows. He's a nice guy. They're actually a really nice group of people. But they're marketing to regular people or idiots who don't know anything about anything. So absolutely not. It's a Alibaba purchased, Chinese coating that then they created a pretty interesting or pretty fun brand. And then they went and for every dollar they spend in marketing, they make a certain amount of profit. So they go out and sponsor a bunch of people. And notice how they're sponsoring people who don't know anything about detailing. Like my friend Ed Bullion and Freddie Tavares. And, these guys aren't detailers. They don't know jack. And so it's a 100% sponsor driven, no chops product. So forget it. Put your money with the guys that are have invested in our world, in the Car Pros and the G-Techs and the and the Geons. I mean, these are equally fantastic people. if not more fantastic, because they're chasing perfection. They're chasing the best. They've been doing it longer and better, and all of them are world-class people in the U.S. Corey Caruth, the representative for C Courts and CarPro in the U.S. Eric and then Rob, who's the owner from the UK, world-class humans. And then Jeff out in Colorado, who's the U.S. representative for Geon. Just all three of them, all of them, they're just amazing people. Like you would like them, guaranteed. And so they're, I think, the three best detailing lines of products in the world. And they've chosen, the international counterparts have chosen great representatives here in the U.S. Avi's chosen Corey a number of years ago to be the U.S. representative, and they're just, there's no reason to chase marketing bullcrap. Despite the fact that the Avalon people are nice people, they're nice people selling junk.
Chad was asking for an update on the Ego Stubby, how many we'd sold. The number so far is 646. So that's how many. We got 1,000 coming, still no date yet. I emailed David today, and there's still no set date. But yeah, that's the number, Chad. 646. Let's see. Would you say, Addie wants to know, that ceramic coating is a must if you only park outdoors, especially in the winter?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not a must, because you could just, apply a wax or sealant a couple of times. But yeah, it certainly is helpful. I would do it. So yeah, I'd be a big proponent.
C-Mac wants to know more about the garage series. What line of work is the Atlanta area garage owner in? Can't wait to see more of that series. Didn't say
so John asked not to be, he's not like super private, but what he does is very public, and so and he works his face off, and he's part of a family of a major corporation, and so he just didn't want to be on the forefront of it. He didn't want him to be the forefront. He wanted the garage, and so we'll probably do some life story stuff on Inside the Hex. But it's a company where that they could get attacked, and it's just there's a lot of not nice people out there, and he'd rather just not deal with that. And so, although he invited us with a massive hospitality, his only request was, look, I want to keep me and my kids off camera, and so. He's a corporate executive, for a major corporation of which his family started, and so that's where he has the means to be able to build something like this. But he's, if not no different than any of us, better, just more humble, more accommodating, more hospitable. Than and this is what that really angers me about people that attack those that have means to do stuff like this. It's nonsense, because they're generally, in order to get there, they've had to win friends and influence people, right? What was that, Andrew Carnegie? I mean, they in order to even get there, and yes, a lot of people will have a head start, a family head start, but most times they have to earn it harder than, oftentimes, if the family is a great family, will make their kids earn more than others. And so it's just know this, that the garage, and us doing it, and him working with us and us working together was like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Hopefully for him as well, to be able to have, like, I'm kind of a unique dude, and he's a unique individual as well, and so there was a real equal exchange in value there, and that he gave us this canvas to work with, and paid for it, and then I was able to use all that I've learned, and then Kyle was able to exercise his newfound skill set, and and then of course Mike was able to use his talents, and Bryce really put together this amazing desk, and my dad came up, and we all marched through building this amazing facility. But We talked about the possibility of sharing his story on like an expose type, inside the Hex only. Again, he's not super private, but it just doesn't want the public backlash that could come from sharing, who he is and that the perceived extravagance of doing, chasing a lifelong dream and building an amazing house and compound.
Negrone24 in the chat says, I just purchased that amazing Swiss Trax flooring for my garage, and it is absolutely awesome. Thank you for all your videos that convinced me to make this decision. And then someone followed up with that. Will that be part of the Black Friday special as well?
Yep.
Yes, it will. That's a time we sell a ton of Swiss Trax Black Friday. So if you want to order that, I'd suggest doing that at the beginning of the weekend because they're going to have a hard time keeping up. PSB speakers. Someone asked about PSB speakers, if we actually have them in stock or if that's on the reserve your spot list. And I just checked, and all of them are currently in stock.
All colors, all shapes, all sizes, all models.
P5, P3, AM3, AM5 are all currently in stock.
We have black Blue Sound nodes in stock. We've got a bunch of the NAD, like we have a C658, we have C388s. So we've got a bunch of NAD stuff in stock as well. We have emits, Dynaudio emit 10s, emit 20s in stock. We have some evokes in stock. We've got a bunch of stuff. The emits aren't live in the store yet, so if you're doing something audio fun, just email me and I'll figure it out for you.
Matt Duffy posted something important here. The event for the the Smokies is in the Inside the Hex group. It's not in the main Facebook group, so we may need to put one in the main Facebook group.
Yeah, we will for sure. Yep.
Okay. Reminder to Shane if he's listening. All right, I think that's all we got for today. Let's see. No, here's a good one that I think you like. From W. Ryan, what YouTubers do you regularly watch/recommend?
That's a good question. Go to my subscription.
I was gonna say this. I always enjoy bringing this up each morning. Like, all right, what was Matt
God
watching?
Dang it! Stop judging me. I get in these it happens like the Ben Shapiro and what is it? They're always posting like Forbes, all this right wing nonsense that I always get, and I start watching. I'm like, and I get in this look at this Fox News crap. Gets me all the time, and yeah, it's crazy. But
here's the cooking guy.
Here's a real suggestion for you. Go to Will Smith's channel and watch his current series, which is 20, the Best Shape of My Life series.
So 20 pounds in 20 weeks.
Yeah, it's super inspiring. And it's to sell his book, which I bought. His book is pretty fantastic. We're like in chapter 4 or something like that. Michelle and I have been listening to it. So let's see. I got Buttery Bros, which is a CrossFit dude. Matt Reisinger is probably my favorite channel. It's the Build Show. Matt Reisinger, Adam LZ, just to keep track of my friend and what he's up to. MKBHD is my favorite. Marcus Brownlee is my favorite tech channel. Let's see. I've got lots of friends that I don't watch. I don't watch VinWiki much. So occasionally I'll go check out what Ed's up to. Let's see, Pan's on there, checking out what Pan's up to, what he's talking about.
Sam the
Cooking Guy, huge fan. Rich Froning, Mayhem, like Haley Adams, watch them, and Tia Claire Toomey, watching her. The best news, which I don't like news, but when I get sucked into it, is the Breaking Points. She's a Democrat, he's a Republican. Or she's more, I guess you'd say, she's a liberal and he's a conservative. Let's say it that way. And I think they have just great insight into things that I don't want to. I get sucked into it. Savage Geese, I think clearly the best car review channel. So click show 100. I have 115 subscriptions. Who the hell am I subscribed to?
Let's see.
Cletus, which I don't ever watch, but Acoustic Fields. That's my new favorite channel.
Is that audio related? I'm
guessing? Yeah. I never watched Doug DeMuro's probably because of you. And clicking on that. Street Speed. So Mike, there's the Heartland channel.
There's only one.
Yeah, Bradley Martin, and Nick Bear are my two favorite fitness guys.
Okay.
TJ Hunt. Scott Ailes, Dry Ice, which Tommy F. Yeah, of course, is always fun for a laugh. Joe Rogan's not really on YouTube anymore. Let's see. Who else Darko Audio is my favorite audio review guy. Yeah, he's fantastic. There's Brian Orr. Joe Knows Best is another very well done channel. The Rag Company guys. There's Brandon, Shifted Perspective. Will Motivation, my friend Will Moss. Gary V. Gary V was a very important part of the transition time of my life, but I haven't found the need to really watch much Gary V stuff anymore. Matt Fraser, his channel, CrossFit guy. There's All Day Anthony, who's Anthony from the Rag Company. Evolve, which is a BMW channel. My friends at P-Car Talk there. Normal guy supercar, so he's always fun to watch. Dan. What's the other great channel? Gears and Gasoline, the Bens. Ben and Ben from Gears and Gasoline. There's my buddy Spencer Burke. There's Alberto, Big Boost. My friend Darren, Auto Fetish Detail. I have a lot of YouTube buddies. There's our friend David Patterson, that dude in blue. Jay Leno's Garage, A Smoking Tire, Shmee. I don't really watch those very, very often. My friend Nick Murray. Nick is always good for a laugh. My friend Larry Casilla, Ammo NYC's channels. Ammo Studio and Ammo NYC, his normal channel.
There you go.
So, yeah, those are the channels that I spend a lot of time watching. But Matt Reisinger right now is my number one channel for sure. For sure.
Let's see. Mad Prana wants to know, you got any audiobooks you're listening to or reading?
Dave Grohl and Will Smith. So the Will Smith autobiography and the Dave Grohl autobiography are the two that I'm listening to. But I usually don't. I should do that more. I like nonfiction. I don't like fiction books. And I don't like to read. I wish I did. But I like to listen at times. But the Joe Rogan podcast is so good that I don't have a lot of other time to listen because Joe Rogan puts out so much content, and I always end up listening to almost all of it.
Ariana Grande?
No.
Yeah, that came up, David, and he just didn't say it out loud, but it was in there for sure.
No.
All right, well, thank you all for tuning in this week. Sorry about the video issues. We'll see if we can figure out what that problem is.
Cool.
And we will be back next week.
See you. Later. We're shifted a little.